Hello, this is Chef Chip from riceandgravy.com with another recipe. One of my favorite probiotic foods, water kefir. I use it to make a ginger tonic. It's 100 times better than any ginger ale you've ever had, and it makes you feel great. The combination of the water kefir and ginger boosts your immune system by helping your body digest food more efficiently. To your health. They're visible as little grains that look like this. They're a little spongy and are about the size of a grain of barley. Tabicos do really well at room temperature, but prefer a temperature closer to 85 or 90. Their food is sugar and minerals. Turbinado or raw sugar is best because it has both. I also use sea salt to add additional minerals. Depending on your environment, they'll need more food about every 48 hours. Preparing a culture is very simple. It takes about 20 minutes. We'll go through the steps here, but when you're ready to get started on your own, you definitely want to visit my blog to get all the details. So here we've got about 2 cups of water just to begin with, 1/4 cup of turbinado sugar and the sea salt. Get that fully dissolved, and while that's going, slice up 2 to 3 ounces of fresh ginger. That's about 1/4 pound. No need to remove the skin unless it makes you happy. Dump the ginger in and bring it back to a simmer. Once we have a good simmer going, then turn the heat off and let it steep for about 20-30 minutes. The water will get a little darker and the ginger is going to get a little soft. Next, we strain the liquid into a bowl and discard the ginger. The next few steps involve adding filtered water to cool off the solution and bring it up to the volume that we want. Tabicos, or water kefir grains, whatever you want to call them, will not survive temperatures much above 95 degrees. They do well at room temperature, but thrive between 80 and 90 degrees. So here we go. Let's add a little more water. Get that up to about 5 cups so we have room to add some more. By stopping at 5 cups, we still have room to add ice cubes to bring the temperature down if necessary. And let's see, 93, that's perfect. When we add the rest of the water, that'll get down to about 90 degrees and we'll be just fine to add the tabicos. The jar should be very clean, using just soap and water. Don't use bleach because it tends to stay behind. While it's never a bad idea, boiling and sanitizing your containers is not as critical as with other brewed preparations. The thing that makes this type of fermentation so useful is that the culture outcompetes the harmful bacteria. That's why we need them in our gut. So as long as your culture is thriving, you know it's safe to drink. It's perfectly normal to see little bits floating around in your culture. That is simply a byproduct and is nothing to be concerned about. And now it's time to put a lid on this thing and forget about it for about a day. Store it in the darkest and warmest part of your kitchen. For me, that's on the top of the fridge towards the back. And it's not a bad idea to cover it with a towel to keep most of the light out. You'll also want to check it after about 18 hours to release some of the pressure. And so here we are, about 36 hours later. Let's take a look, shall we? And this is my favorite part. If everything's going the way it's supposed to be, this is what happens when you open it. Yes! All right, moving right along. Strictly speaking, our healthy beverage is ready, but since most of the sugar is gone, it's not very tasty. So here's the next step. We have to add a little more sugar, bottle it, and do a second fermentation. While the ball jar will do, it's no good opening and closing every time you want to sip. I like a Grolsch-style swing top bottle because they're easy and reusable. The only thing is, eventually the seal has to be replaced. I do make a gallon or so of this for my family and friends, and I have found that 7-ounce champagne splits work great in my case. This robotic-looking red gadget is a capper. It works like this. The circle in the middle is where the cap fits, and when you open the arms, it crimps the cap on. Pretty neat, huh? My kids love to do this part. So let's get all this out of the way. In the pitcher, I've already mixed some more turbinado sugar into some filtered water. We'll add that to the brewed stuff and then bottle it up. And this is where the screen is important. Remember all that debris we saw earlier? We don't want that in our bottle. It'll also help keep the tabicos grains contained. It helps to give the jar a swirl before pouring out the last bit so you can get all the grains out. And there they are, everybody out. I guess it's worth noting the color of the grains. You can see how they're sort of a tan color. That's actually not the native color of the Tabicos grains. They are kind of a cauliflowery to a translucent color. It's the solution that they're in that gives them that color. And now it goes in bottles. You know, a funnel would have made this task a whole lot easier. Unfortunately, I couldn't find mine when I started rolling the camera. But good thing I'm a professional. Don't try this at home. Please, use a funnel. And pour the liquid all the way up to that ring. All bottles have a ring about 1 inch from the top. It helps keep the right amount of headspace, which keeps the cap from blowing off from the pressure. The swing top is engaged, and we'll set it aside in a warm place for about 12 hours. As the culture consumes some of the sugar we added, carbonation will build up inside. So what do you think of that? Pretty simple. Be sure to visit my blog site to get the rest of the details.